What's going on, everybody? You know, it's your boy Wham, aka Wham the God, aka Simic Daddy, aka Daddy, aka him, bringing you that sweet, wholesome, beautiful cEDH content that only I know how to bring. And today, I'm bringing you that new ban list that just dropped. The Commander Rules Committee dropped a new ban, Hammer.
You want the hammer? Then go get the hammer.
And it's got the whole community going crazy.
What's happening to her? It's no good.
The RC, Jim, got the whole community on ayahuasca right now. They all just fighting their demons. The cEDH community, punching the air right now.
I'm tired of this shit. Kill all these motherfuckers. I'm sick of fucking tired of this shit. I'm sick of this shit. I'm so fucking tired of this shit. Fuck this shit.
And with no further ado, we gotta get into it. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm already at the website. Oh, let me tell you, I was at work when this dropped. They dropped that workout, looked at it. I was like, oh, can't wait to get home. Oh, my boss was like, what's wrong? What's wrong, Wham? What's wrong, Wham the God? What's wrong, Simic Daddy? What's wrong, Daddy? What's wrong? Him. I said, man, my life just changed. I can't talk right now. Don't talk to me. She just looked away. Anyways, back to this big four big ones today.
What do you mean by that?
So let's scroll down. We got Darkside Extortionist, Jewel Lotus, Manic Crypt, and Nadu Wing Wisdom. We're gonna take a look at each one of these, so let's start from the beginning. Darkside Extortionist. So Darkside's a big one here because it's pretty much, you know, single-handedly powered red for the most part. That and Underworld Breach. Getting rid of this means that, you know, we're losing combo pieces, we're losing loops, but it's also, you know, taking the strain off of cEDH where, you know, this is pretty much one of your main outlets. I'm excited for it because it shows that, you know, we're gonna have to get a little bit more creative. Red's gonna have to figure out something. I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna be falling back on Jessica's wheel, but you know, I think it's gonna be pretty spicy. That being said, with this ban, a lot of creature loops are gonna go down the drain. So a lot of those Emil loops, Displacer Kitten loops, they're pretty much out the window right now, but it's not like they can't be replaced. You know, like I said, you're gonna see a big uptick in dual caster, mage, twin flame type deals. You're gonna see a lot of, you know, guide cradle loops with Emil now. Just gotta fall back on other things. I also like this ban because it's forcing a lot of people to be more interactive with the game. In some games, you could just sit back, drop the Darkside and win. Big offender of this, Sisse, aka France.
Oui.
Big offender of this. I think another one we need to look at is probably gonna be, you know, our blue farm players. I love to see blue farm take hits. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna hold you. I love it. I just like it because it's gonna introduce more creativity into the game. You got to keep in mind as well. I mean, Jim himself has, you know, said this. These bans aren't particularly looking at the cEDH format. It's just the format as a whole. But you got to understand, a lot of cEDH and, you know, high powered commander, they tend to overlap. And a lot of these cards are actually starting to see it play in casual play as well. So it's becoming an issue, which is why this ban is pretty much happening. You know, that being said, it's another spicy ban. I love it. So I love it and I hate it. So I guess in general, I'll speak on this in general. These bans, you know, they remove a lot of things that people play in cEDH. They remove a lot of, you know, cards from, you know, the higher tiers. Also, there are some people, you know, who invest in these cards. So, you know, there's a lot of money going out the window. I'm not even talking about on the base level. So, you know, you get like a base Manic Crypt, a base Jewel Lotus, base Darkside. We talking about foil etch, you know, different alternative arts. People are losing money on that. I hate to see that. I do not like that. I mean, even I lost a little bit on this.
I told you we shouldn't have committed everything, you asshole!
I gotta get Wilson and tell him to sell.
And with that being said, I think you have to understand that if you're investing in this game, that is a risk that comes with this. But on that same, I guess, you know, side of the coin, if you're deciding to get these cards, and I'm not giving financial advice at all, but you need to think about this. If you're deciding to invest in these cards, you shouldn't be putting yourself in a jam or putting yourself in a situation where you are getting, you know, certain cards and it's putting you financially in a stressful situation. That is not how you play this game. Especially if you're in cEDH. If you're in cEDH, we have proxies. Save yourself $200, pay $1, $2, get a proxy, print one out from the printer, 50 cents, 25 cents. We have to think about these things. So I will say that bit. If you're putting yourself in a financial strain or you're stressing out over these cards, you're doing it the wrong way and you need to reevaluate. But with that being said, let's move on to the next one. Jewel Lotus. Hate to see it. So Jewel Lotus, I can understand that ban too. It's not as big of a ban. I think it's a bigger ban to you know, commanders that, you know, cost a little bit more. So we're looking at our Tivits, we're looking at our Corvals. Corval got hit big by this list. He didn't even deserve it. Baby boy did not deserve it. But I think it, you know, it slows those decks down as well. I mean, turn one Nagilas, it could still be a thing. It'll just be a little bit harder. So it's just slowing the format down. All these bans are slowing the format down. And I think that's something that's kind of needed at this part or at this moment, because, you know, it's good that the format is fast, but we don't want it going too fast to the point where, you know, all these other cards or all these other potential strategies become irrelevant. So I'm excited about that. I'm not just all like, oh yeah, fuck those cards. Like, no, I'm not saying that, but I am understanding from different points of view. And the big view being, if it's slowing the format down and it's, you know, making it to a point where it's more enjoyable, more strategies can become, you know, relevant, more new cards can be introduced, you know, spice up the format as a whole. Because let's be honest, it was a little stale. There were 4 or 5 decks that were pretty much it. Now with this, anything goes. I can't wait to see people, you know, brew new things and bring new spice. And people are like, oh, but these are just like 4 cards. But these 4 cards change a lot of things. They change a lot of loops. Those things go out the window. You have to look at different outlets, which again, I think it's fun because now people will have to, you know, learn more. They won't be able to be like, oh, I see this, I see it coming. Sometimes you're gonna get got and it's gonna be about something you weren't expecting. And I think that's a beautiful thing. What we got next, Manic Crypt. Now this is a big one. I think Manic Crypt across any format was just very strong. Manic Crypt's strong in any format. It's strong in any format, especially of commander, casual, low power, jank, cEDH, strong card. And you know, now it's gone, so now people are gonna probably fall back on, you know, Soul Rings. Mana Vault's gonna see a rise. I mean, Wild Growth and Utopia Sprawl sounding pretty good right now. I think green might have got a bump with these bans, actually, now that I'm looking at it. I think the power of green has gone up a little bit more, and the power of Bowmaster has also gone up a little bit more. That being said, the turn 1 heuristic studies, I'm not gonna say they're a thing of the past, but once again, even harder to pull off. I mean, it indirectly nerfs a couple of plays. It nerfs, you know, your turn 1 wheels, those are harder to pull off. Heuristic studies harder to pull off. I mean, even the turn 1 commanders just get a little bit harder to do. With the, you know, it's crazy. I love this ban. I mean, I haven't even looked at too much of like reading why they're doing what they're doing. This is just from me looking straight at these 4 cards, telling you what I think. I mean, if y'all want, we can read later on. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I know y'all smart. I know y'all can read, but if you want me to read along with you, by all means, we can. I might put that at the end, be the note section when I read through the notes. The next one, Nadu. Nadu Wing wisdom. Why did they do this to my baby boy? Why they do this to my boy? That's very sad. I myself am a Nadu enjoyer, so to see this kind of hurts, but at the same time it is much needed, because the thing that was going on was, you know, Nadu, of course, it plays on the Bowmasters, plays on the draws, but it also set up turns that, you know, if you weren't a competent Nadu pilot, it set up these turns where it was taking forever for you to get to, you know, the win. And they say it's non-deterministic, but if you play it right and you understand what you're doing, it's very deterministic. It set up these turns where, you know, you could go for like 30 minutes and maybe not get it, and it could be due to a misplay on your own part, or, you know, you just going around and turning your wheels until, you know, you think something's gonna happen. I can understand this ban. I won't say that when it comes to cEDH, I'm not gonna say that it wasn't unhealthy, but it wasn't healthy either. It's very interesting. It was on a fine line. I mean, in casuals, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think you should be playing this in casuals. There is no way that I think you can build a casual Nadu deck and people not be mad. It's a strong deck, which is why I think it should have been more cEDH based or cEDH focused. But yeah, if you're bringing this into a casual pod, I'm not gonna say you're a pub stomper, or maybe you're not doing it intentionally, but that's along the lines of pub stomping. You know, but even in general, Nadu itself was a very strong card, as if not the commander in the 99, because what we had happening was, you know, we had people actually trying to use Nadu as a secret commander in their Temna Thrasios decks, or Thrasios with what other color you ever wanted, be it black or, you know, just mix it in. And we had no people doing, you know, secret Nadu decks, so it was just slowly starting to actually put a chokehold on the format, and, you know, and it was actually morphing it to like a Nadu based thing. So I'm actually happy to see this, but at the same time I'm sad to see this, because like I said before, I was a Nadu enjoyer myself. I think I actually played this in Beholder and I top 4 with this, so it's a very strong deck. Sad to see it go, but hey, back to the Dookie Legion, baby. We always gonna be a Kennen player, so all this did was just strengthen Kennen. While speaking on that, this is another thing this ban has done. It has strengthened a couple of decks, 2 in particular. One being Kennen. You know, Kennen has always been strong, but with this happening, it's gotten even better, because now we can play our rocks, we can play anything we want, and we don't have to worry about somebody playing that Darkside and winning, because we pretty much got greedy. So it actually, you know, we're being rewarded for our greed now, which is crazy. And another deck, Darkside. Darkside doesn't really get hurt by these things. None of these cards really hurt it. Darkside, yes, it used. Manic Crypt, yes, it used. But it still has so many other turbo options. Like it doesn't really get stopped. It slows down its wheels, but the wheels can still be played because it's on Dark Ritual, it's on Rite of Flames, it's on Cabal Rituals, it's on other ways to make this mana, this one-shot mana, and just doing what it wants. I think that's another thing we have to keep an eye on. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this, you know, really messes up as well. But from what I'm seeing, it doesn't really slow it down much. But then again, it becomes a bigger threat. So, you know, people are probably going to hate on it even more. So maybe it's a give and take. We covered everything here. This is beautiful. I can't wait to see what people do. I can't wait to see, you know, the new tournaments with this ban list enacted. Again, there's a lot of discourse right now going on in the community in cEDH, and I think all these people punching the air is more over the fact that they're losing money on these things. People who actually invested in these, and I can understand that. I myself lost a little bit when it came to, you know, 1 or 2 of these cards, but I'm okay with that. I think when you, like I said before, when you put that type of money into it, you got to understand there is a risk and a reward. It's just like stocks. I'm not comparing it directly to stocks, but they do share a few things. But yeah, so I think that's just a give and take, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, just like in the cEDH game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But now we're going to get into these notes. Commander Rules Committee explanation of bans. Before they dive into these announcements, they want to highlight an important event. On September 28th and 29th, the Rules Committee and Community of Cardboard will be hosting a 2nd annual Shelter Memory charity stream. Okay, that's pretty dope. We actually should make sure that we highlight this. I think I'm gonna put this in the in the discussion or the post or the notes or whatever part of that is that, you know, that you click on and it shows the thing. I'm gonna put that link there. It's of course, you know, it's for Sheldon's passing in 2023, so it's, you know, pretty much like a fundraiser. So it's a fund drive for cancer. I think everyone should probably participate in that in one way or other. Once again, I will be posting that link so everyone can be able to, you know, enjoy that event. Let's see, cards. Oh, here we go. We're going over philosophy. The philosophy of Commander priorities creativity, and one of the ways we have historically reflected that in the rules and balance is to encourage a slower pace of game. Oh, once again, here we go. See, they just want to slow the game down, and those bans for sure slow the game down. It doesn't slow it down to a halt, but it does make it more, I think it makes it more of an enjoyable experience overall. You know, being able to bring different strategies, even in cEDH, bring different strategies, you know, different takes on the game, different thoughts on the game, sharing these different thoughts and seeing if they work out. I think that's the big part of this that we need to capture. Specific card bans. Oh, Manic Crypt coming down for no mana on turn 1. It's quite impossible. Oh, excuse me. It's quite possible to have the explosive start of Manic Crypt into a Signet or a Talisman land or in another Signet, leaving the player untapping 5 mana on turn 2. That is very true, but that's another reason why we play cEDH. You know, big mana, big fast turns, but at the same time, I feel like the way things were headed, it was becoming a very predictable, very, you know, I won't say not enjoyable, but it was less enjoyable, but not unenjoyable. So like I said, these bans, they just breathe new life into it. I mean, Darkside speaks for itself. Even everyone who plays cEDH or any casual game knows that Darkside is a strong card. Even on the casual side of things, dropping a Darkside for 4 mana or 4 treasure is a lot, even in casual. So I can understand that. Would it be compared to Soul Ring? I mean, a Darkside turn 2 compared to a Soul Ring, I think they'd be along the same lines, honestly. Some might say, oh, you know, Soul Ring is just better, or because it gives you, you know, recurable 2 mana. But usually if you're dropping a Darkside, you're probably winning that turn, if not setting up something crazy where it makes it very difficult for others to win. So do we need to read this? I just don't think we need to read this. I feel like you guys are all smart enough to figure this out. I guess we can read on the Nadu ban. But again, I think the Nadu ban was literally just based off of the fact that overall it was just making gameplay states to where it was very uninteractable. Like, it's hard to interact with the Nadu player once they get going, once they start flipping cards, and once, you know, they put you in a position where you can't, you know, you're out of steam, because the thing about Nadu is it doesn't draw, it still puts the cards in your hand, and it's giving you interaction just in case you don't win, which made it very hard to beat. I think that was the part that made it hard to beat. Again, I think that's the reason for that ban. It puts a situation in the game where it's just pretty much one person playing, everyone else watching. After that, I mean, here it is. I mean, this is great. Everyone was pushing them to do bans, and they gave it to you. Look at Jim hit us with, he said, hey, you asked us to do something, here it is. Now leave me alone, bitches. Respect. Very alpha of you, Jim. This is beautiful. I'm excited about it. Some people are like, oh, you're just excited about it because you play Kennen. I mean, I play all types of decks. Kennen's my baby, but you know, of course, I'm happy to see it. But for the longest time, Kennen players been getting beat down too. Like, everyone shares in their times of losing and, you know, their deck not being that great. So it's going to be good to see all these other, especially fringe decks, you know, rise up and get better play. And, you know, be less locked out due to, you know, having to think about things such as Manic Crypt dropping on them and Jewel, Lotus, and Darkside. So your bigger like creatures or your bigger commanders actually might see more play now, which is very interesting. I can't wait to see this. This is beautiful. But you know, all this being said, we got to get back in the kitchen. We got to Elon Musk it. We got to brew it up. It's time. What else can we say? I think everyone's a little shocked right now. If you take a look on TCG Player, I mean, we have the stocks on these boys going down. I mean, get it while it's hot, get it while it's low. That's the big play. Not financial advice. Get it while it's low and just wait for it to come back eventually. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I guess. All that being said, you know, let's stay strong. Let's treat each other right. Let's do right by each other. Let's build a stronger community. All right. Thank you.